distance.
Okay, well that's true. I can understand that. It's quite prevalent in the flat Earth community. Is people that
are you religious?
We call them Bible bashers. We call them Bible bashers in Scotland, as in
are you one of those,
you're not one of those people that do it for
no,
the Bible, right?
Steve. No, I that's the thing. I kind of have. I can't prove either way. So I have to say I don't know. And regarding the flat Earth, I can't prove either way, which is a problem in itself. Because I'm quite honest. You know, I don't want. You know, nobody wants to look stupid or anything like that. But and I've loved science all my life. All my life I've looked at it. You know, maybe I don't understand the mathematics and stuff like that, but always, you know, watched every science program, nature program, the whole lot. I've always been interested in it, and I've always kind of picked information from it. And then suddenly, it was all up for grabs. And then when I was like, well, let me look, and I looked into it, and I found that the evidence for a spinning ball flying through space, it just isn't there. Apart from photographs from space, and that's it. That is all the, and even that's about the best evidence that you've got actually. Or if you want to go into the metaphysical mathematics or whatever, then you know if you want to start using mathematics to describe it, well, mathematics is, to me, it's after the fact. As you observe it, you see a pattern, and you say, right, how am I going to do these mathematics for it? Not to prove it. Yeah, well, that's a fisheye. There's a good one. There's actually, if you look at one when he's inside the capsule, it's just the horizon a straight line, and it actually changes to a curve while he's still inside the capsule. So it's quite funny that, you know.
Did you want to speak on this?
Yeah. So this particular what you're referring to, this is Felix Baumgartner's jump, and it was about. Yeah, from Baumgartner, it's about 128,000 feet, which is, I don't know, about a third of the way to the Kármán line, give or take, which is the limit for outer space. Right, so it's about 20, 24, 25 miles. This was not taken with a fisheye lens. One thing about fisheye lens or lens distortion, anything that has a wide view tends to distort horizontal lines, so you get this barrel effect, right? That curvature is natural curvature. That's not caused by any kind of distortion or lens whatsoever. That's just a regular normal lens taking a picture of that. So how would you explain something like that? Because this is exactly what you're asking.
Well, yeah, I mean, was that a normal lens? And also,
yes.
I could look out of that, and I could see that as just as a circle in front of me. So if I was looking out a big circle, it would obviously look curved because the furthest point would be away from me if I was looking like that. And if we see in a certain distance around it, we see in a circle, for example, when we're on the beach, we've got a view in, we can only see 3 miles, 360 or 3.1 miles or something, 360. So if we're looking straight ahead and we see enough, obviously it's going to curve round like that anyway. And can look as if it's going like that. It can still look like that, as if we're curving round. But as again, I will go back to Neil deGrasse Tyson. He even says that Felix Baumgartner, that wasn't curve that you saw there.
Well, hang on. Let me one sec. This picture was from Neil deGrasse Tyson's Twitter feed.
Right.
Directly taken from his Twitter feed.
Well, right, but okay then. But the thing is, he said. And there's video. I wish I'd known we were going to do this. I would have showed you the video of him saying that it's impossible to see it from there. He even stipulates.
Well, let me ask Dr. Prothero. Looking at that image that we showed, what would you say about it?
Well, it seems to be up at a high elevation. Yeah, that's a curvature. You won't get that with a fisheye lens because you also distort the images in front as well with the fisheye lens. And that's not distorted. So that's clearly not a lens effect.
Right, okay. There's photographs from inside there that shows it flat as well. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm getting two different stories, and it's up to me to decide what it is.
What's the other story?
Well, that you're not high enough to see curvature up that height.
You're not, but at that height you clearly can.
You've got scientists saying that. Well, look, you've got one scientist saying that. You've got Neil deGrasse Tyson being adamant about.
This is from Neil's timeline. And that's
doesn't matter.
This is from Neil's timeline.
But he spoke the words. He spoke the words saying that there's no way it could be curvature.
I don't care what he's changed. Understand what he was saying?
Well, he is misunderstanding. No, Neil deGrasse Tyson once said. Let me tell the story because Dr. Prothero may not know the story. Neil deGrasse Tyson did say that you would need to have an exceptional amount of height to see the curvature of the Earth. And what he's talking about is an actual curvature that you can visualize with resolution with the eyes, such that you notice this like this. But to see actual curvature, that if you could take a picture and draw a line and kind of check it out visually compared to lower on the Earth to higher on the Earth, then you only need about 40,000 feet, 40 to 60,000 feet. You should be able to see something. Does that sound about right, Doctor?
People on the Concord can see it well. It's 60 to 70,000 feet. So,
yeah.
But that's hearsay, you understand? And then you've got him saying whatever we could argue this point all night, but he never said what you just said there, Steve. He was adamant.
But we know how
he couldn't see.
We know how to interpret it. I mean, do you agree that Dr. Tyson?
Right. Well,
do you agree he is somebody who accepts the round Earth, right? I mean, he is an anti-flat earther. So why are you using him one case as a source, but then ignoring everything else that he's saying? It seems to be cherry picking. Dr. Prothero, would you call that cherry picking? If you have one, if I use you as a source,
say it again.
Oh, if I use you as a source. Sorry, we got a lag. Go ahead.
Yeah. I said he got in a big debate with a rapper by the name of B.O.B., and he did some things around that to clarify what was going on. But, of course, he never went very far. The rapper never learned anything. But the bigger thing is that he's taken the issue on, and he's such a prominent scientist. You can misunderstand him if you don't read it carefully, or you may have a garbled version of what he said. But I can't imagine Neil deGrasse Tyson said anything that supports flat earthism.
He didn't.
But you can't imagine that he would say that. It's not an argument for that he did say it.
No, he did say that. But hang on. Let's clarify here. Of course, he said it.
The whole lecture.
But you have to understand what he's meaning.
I know the context. I can understand English, Steve. It is my language. It's not a foreign language to me. And if someone's, how am I meant to understand this? He did not see curvature from the height he was at. You can't see curvature from there. His exact words. So, what am I meant to interpret that as? If he says that you can't see it, what am I missing? How am I misinterpreting? He never used maths.
Well,
so
I've already explained it, but maybe Dr. Prothero can explain it better, because I've already explained that you can see it from 70,000 feet. You just can't see it with the type of curvature that you're looking at with the picture I showed you, which is what Dr. Tyson was referring to, because it does blur into the horizon at 40 to 60,000 feet.
No, Steve, it doesn't. I'm sorry. I've been here 5 years. As I say, I've been here. I'm not in denial. The thing is, I'm not in denial. I was against it. I was promoting the moon hoax about 3 years ago, and then I actually decided to go back and really, really check into it, actually looking into satellites, and I changed my position on that because I'm honest. And as I say, because I found evidence that, wait a minute, they did go to the moon, or satellites do exist and stuff like that, which is totally against it. So I'm being honest with myself. I'm not like cherry picking. As I say, I'm just doubting it. Yeah, go on.
Where's that? Where did you say that you? I'm trying to find exactly what Neil deGrasse Tyson said. Did you get that from?
It was a lecture he done. Which one? It was an outdoor lecture, and it was called. I couldn't. I didn't even know. I didn't even know that I was.
Well, I'm gonna look for that. But while I do that, tell Dr. Prothero what your feelings are about gravity, because we touched on that last week, but we didn't.
Right, yeah.
Too deep into it.
Well, I don't believe gravity's a force. I just feel that, well, you can't prove it anyway. You know, in any experiment that I've been told to do, just, you know, how can you measure gravity when you're already in a gravitational field? But that doesn't matter anyway. That's like a trying to weigh water on a set of scales underwater kind of thing. It's kind of stupid. You know what I mean? The weight of some water. But the point is, with gravity, I just believe it's the weight of an object interacting with its surroundings. If it's heavier, it'll go down. It naturally wants to find its equilibrium. Yeah, go on. So.
Okay, that was what everyone thought until Isaac Newton made a better explanation of it. And the point is, well, because of Isaac Newton's laws of gravity, we are able to do things like go into space. If we didn't have those laws of gravity and the way they predict the way heavenly bodies and satellites and our spacecraft are actually moving, none of this would have ever happened. And I can actually measure gravity anytime I want. In my department, we have a device called a gravimeter, which actually measures how much the earth beneath you is pulling on this spring-loaded device. And you can take it in various places. You can take it on the ground. You can take it in airplanes. And you can actually tell that the earth is denser in some places and less dense in the other because the device is picking up how much gravity is felt beneath it. So it's actually something you can physically measure with a device. It's actually not that complicated. It's routinely done by thousands of my colleagues all the time, all around the world. And if gravity didn't exist, you would have very strange things. If it's a flat earth and everything is supposed to go down, then everything would be pulled to the center of it. And you'd have pendulums hanging sideways in Australia because it's out in the rim, not in the center of your so-called flat earth disk. That's something that does not happen. If you ask anyone in Australia, their pendulums hang straight down just like they do anywhere else on the Earth's surface.
Yeah, but that's assuming. See, you're under the presupposition that with gravity on a flat plane, gravity will go to the center. You're saying so you'll have pendulums aiming at the center. Well, where can you find? You can't find the center of a flat plane. I'm just saying it's down. And it'll be universally
that's
down.
The way a lot of flat earthers have talked about gravity as if it's that kind of force, and that it's pulling to the center of a disk rather than pulling to the center of a sphere. And that's the conclusive argument against that way of doing it. If you don't follow that, I can understand. But the point is, we would not be able to go to space without the laws of gravity, and we have successfully predicted various things moving in space astronomically. That's how they predicted the path of comets that were not seen at the time, and all because we understand the laws of gravity. I know you don't like mathematics, but it's not that hard to do mathematically. I did it in my classes, and you can predict anything you want with gravity, which no system that predates Newton's laws of gravity has ever successfully done.
Yeah, but like for example, you say Newton's gravity, but Newton's gravity is only relevant for down here, right? From within this, whatever we are living in this realm.
Relevant for all bodies, all over the universe. It's all dependent on how far apart things are and how large they are. That's all it takes. Is Newton's law. It's just force is gravitational mass times divided by a square of the distance. It's all you require to calculate the gravity of something. And I do it all the time in my classes and have students do it as well.
Yeah, I thought it was the bending of space-time out there. Because Newton's laws are restricted to
very large distances and very large gravities. But for most objects in space, Newtonian math works just fine.
Right. Okay. So, right, you're saying that, right? Now, the planets, the stars, and all that have been looked at for thousands and thousands of years. They predict weather patterns without having their big telescopes or anything like that. You can go back to the Chaldeans or the Egyptians or the Druids or whatever. They actually worked and they studied it way before, and they noticed the patterns, right? This has already been done even before your Galileos or Keplers or Copernicus or whatever, Ptolemy, or all these people, all these scientists, which I will call them scientists because they built their own things. They were experimentalists as well, not people having ideas in their head and extrapolating and doing things that they couldn't ever prove. Right? The stars, the moon, and the stars.
These people were not able to get very far beyond simple observations of where planets and stars were in the sky at a given time. and what Newton's law